Welcome back to another episode of Heavy Wireless, part of the Packet Pushers podcast network. My name is Keith Parsons, and today I have with me someone you probably don't know. His name is Rahul Narasimhan. Did I get that close?
Yes, you did.
Good. He runs a company called HiveRadar, and you might have heard of one of his products, and we're going to first start talking about that product, which is an AP on a stick kind of kit you can take out, fits on an airplane. And we've had him at WOPC before, and great, fantastic kit. But what I wanted to talk about in this episode is a new edge compute device unit box. It's just really, really cool. I saw it, the tease that HiveRadar put out on it. I thought this would make a great topic. So let's kind of tease our audience a little bit. Tell us about how you got into Wi-Fi, but you kind of backed into it. So a little backstory, Rahul.
So we started back in 2002 as primarily a networking cybersecurity company, and we had opportunities where clients were trying to get us to do wireless site surveys. And just like anybody else, I think there were only a couple of players in the market who had the big rolling tray, which almost looked like an IV drip. You know what I'm talking about. But so it started from there, and we said, hey, you know what? It can be better, because with this, you're trying to take too much stuff. You need two guys to carry everything, the lead acid batteries, etc. So we try to make it into a complete carry-on portable kit, and that's where the entire HiveRadar AP on a stick, how can you condense it down into a small airline carry-on pack came in. And I think along the way, we ended up buying a company which manufactured the battery also. So the battery technology also we integrated into our product. So it just kind of built on from there. And now you guys know that HiveRadar wireless site survey kit is completely in a box. You just take it, and the whole case actually transforms as a base. So,
and I don't know what version you have. I started with one that had didn't have the legs underneath it, and the new one has lots of support.
correct. So we kind of learned along the way. So the original kit obviously was on wheels, and it had stability issues when you get to a certain height. And we learned from our mistakes of what could be done, what can be made better. So we actually made the manufacturing process better. So we had a stabilizer articulating legs that would fit inside the lid itself of the case. And along with the carbon fiber poles, we even extended the height from the original 9 feet to 12 feet. And the stabilizer base actually added to a little more stability. So you could go with the APs up till about 7.77 pounds in weight. So that made it easier. And we added some attachments as well. So if you had a pole mount AP that you wanted to, with a single click, you could fix it, attach it. So you've got a few additional options. And then we decide, oh, okay, you know what? You've got the legs. Now it's still difficult to move. So we came out with a little attachment which you can just slide and click, articulating wheels. So it could move, and you could drag it along in an office floor as well. So
yeah, I've enjoyed watching it grow over the years and get better and better along the way. And for those of you who are still doing AP on a sticks, you need them. This is a fantastic kit. I'll put links in the show notes. You can go look at HiveRadar. It's a wonderful, like, everything in a box. Oh, by the way, you even included some really cool tools. The first one, I had to go track down that it was like a bike tool to be able to, little screws and little screwdriver.
correct. Yeah. So the idea was, you wanted to make sure that all the tools that were included with the kit were not single dimensional. So if you, for example, look at a PoE battery, which is so specific, it's a PoE injector that's built in. You want to take it out camping, you can't. So the idea for the kit was to keep it as tool free as possible, but to make sure that the tools that are there, you could have multiple uses out of it. So if you're on a biking trip, whichever, you could take it with you, and you've got a bike tool that's there. Even the battery, the flashlight that we had doubled as a little portable battery backup for your cell phone if you needed. So there are a few things that we try to make in multitasking, and I think that trend has continued even now. So when we talk about the new stuff that's coming down, you'll hear about that as well.
Well, the new stuff is amazing. For those of you who haven't done this, there are different groups that go and support when there's a disaster. And so from from our company, we've supported wireless LAN professionals. We've supported a group called ITDRC, which goes out and when there's a natural disaster, they go on site and they bring technology in to help support whoever needs the support during this natural disaster. And so I've been on site when had nothing at all. And I got to say, the thing that really impressed me most is not that you have a whole edge computing platform that just rolls with you, but you included a stool. There's so many times just having a place to sit would have made life so much wonderful. So I'll just let you tell us what's the background. Why did you come up with this instant edge idea of a portable edge data center?
So the idea, first of all, is not unique. I mean, people have done portable data centers for many years. If you Google portable data center, you'll find, anything from a 24U rack all the way going to a 40-foot container. If it's on wheels, it's technically portable. But our idea of portability was something that a single person could actually move it, single person could set it up. That's where we were trying to go with it. There is a completely separate market for rugged. So this is not supposed to be rugged as in like you can chop, draw, kick. I mean, that's not the intention. The idea is to give you a hard case, which gives you a fair amount of protection that's there. But the idea is that you can quickly set it up in whether it's a disaster zone or small business office or a remote mining station that's there or expedition force that needs to go out. So that was the whole intention. So where it started from was actually last year. We were at one of our vendor or partners conference. It's called Scale Computing. They do hyperconverged infrastructure similar to Nutanix, VMware, etc. And I saw a gentleman out there with a 2U guitar case, and he was trying to do a demo with using these Intel NUCs. So Intel NUCs are essentially mini computers that are there, and you can set up 3 of them as a cluster, which gives you redundancy, gives you storage, gives you compute, and you can run about 6 to 7 workloads. So when we saw that, we said, hey, we can make it better because we did the same thing, out of necessity for a wireless site survey kit. So we reached out to Scale Computing and said, hey, if you were to build something like this, what would be the interest from your side? The interest was just phenomenal. I mean, I got a call back saying, hey, is this ready? Because we just did a little bit of a mock-up of what the kit is going to look like. And the call was, is it ready? Can we start selling it? I said, no, we're just still in the prototype stage right now. We're just designing it. So the project started actually in June of 2024. And it's gone through several iterations. And we finally had our first 90% finished prototype at the show floor in Vegas. So the unit is a 4U, the first phase of the unit is a 4U kit, which has got a little bit of futuristic elements. We designed the rack mounts to fit 3 NUCs, but we also had LED backlighting to it. So you could easily know, hey, it's node 1, node 2, node 3. So if you're doing remote support tomorrow and you need to tell the store manager, hey, you need to shut off node 1, so he knows exactly what he's looking at, because without that, it's just 3 computers that are sitting there. So we did some LED backlighting. We've got full 2.5 gig switching that's integrated inside it. Everything inside is pre-wired. So all you have to do is to put, your 3 computers that are there, connect them up. And we've got 2 storage accessory trays that carry just like a Wi-Fi survey kit, it's got the carbon fiber pole, so you can extend and set up a 5G cellular gateway and give wireless access to people. For connectivity, and we have also got a storage tray that can carry a Starlink Mini. So if you're in a zone where there is no 5G internet, you can actually have Starlink Mini as well. So you can just connect everything. And the biggest hit at the show was actually, we wanted to make sure that everything is usable. So, okay, typically when you take it out to site, the lids go on the side, you throw it away. So we decided, hey, the lids, we can make use of it. What can you do with it? So we actually use the same articulating leg idea, and we actually had one of the lids become a little stool, and the second lid would connect with a clip-on attachment to make it a little work desk. So we've got an actual work desk when you're on site and you're doing troubleshooting work. So that was actually a big hit at the show.
Having been places where I didn't have a place to sit and had to do some work, that was my first impression was like, oh, they've been there before. Because if you thought through that, you've actually been on site. And it doesn't have to be in a disaster. You're just setting up in some data center or some remote office to fix something. Nice features. So kind of like your uh, AP on a stick kit, you just thought through all the things, and it looks gorgeous too. You did a really good job on the
Thank you.
aesthetics.
Excellent. Yeah. Well, I mean, there's still some room for improvements that we have got. Like, for example, right now the LED lights on the aesthetic, they're aesthetic, but they've got a static purpose. You can dim it, you can turn it off, but there is IoT integration that's happening down the road where the LED lights, etc., will be actually communicating to the switch using an API or the router, cellular router, and it'll give you the visual alert. Hey, there is something wrong with this device. Somebody needs to take a look at it.
So what are the components? You have a 4U box, and inside there, what are the pieces? And I'm guessing this is going to be fairly modular, but what's the base look like?
So the base kit actually is going to include a cloud managed PDU. So it'll have a 6 outlet power delivery unit, which you can manage from the cloud. And if you need to remotely turn off a particular outlet, you could do that as well. It gives you a real-time power draw, what's happening inside your portable data center. We've got, because the Intel units that we are using for the first phase have got each mini computer has got 2.5 gig interfaces. So the entire switch stack that we have got it's a 2.5 gig port, 2.5 gig PoE ports, and 10 gig SFP uplinks. We actually include the switches cloud managed. We include the 10 gig SFP transceivers as well. So it's your choice. If you need copper, auto negotiating copper, we'll put that in. Or if you need fiber, you can take fiber. The cellular gateway is actually a firewall. It's the first PCI compliant firewall from a company called Mako. It's a company out of New Zealand, and the entire dashboard is actually cloud managed. So if you had hundreds of these devices deployed around the world, or depending what your business use case is, for example, oil and gas companies have got a lot of retail stores, throughout the country, throughout the nation. So you could have these portable data centers. You can manage all these devices remotely. So from the switch to the PDU to the cellular wireless firewall, which is there, they can all be managed remotely. So the base kit will have the switch, it'll have the PDU, it'll have the rack mounts, which are there for the 3 NUCs. It'll have the accessory trays, which will hold the cellular gateway, the mounting pole, the mounting bracket. We don't include the Starlink Mini because that's an optional component, but you will have a storage space for the Starlink Mini as well.
So if you showed up on site with this, I'm guessing it's just looking at it is not a carry-on for airlines.
No, the form factor is not carry-on, but it is airline check-in because currently we are at about 88 pounds. And I think under large baggage, heavy baggage, you can, because we checked in the United policy, for example, you can take up to 100-pound check-in luggage. We don't have any battery. We purposely did not put any battery inside it because that can just take the check-in option completely out of the window, throw it out of the window. So there's no battery, but you can always get a battery on site. So we've got a portable setup which can either be shipped separately to the location, but the actual data center, you can take it as check-in, and we will have a little padded protection case that you can put as well. So it'll have a thick 1.5 inch, or not 1.5, but about an inch thick foam that's going to be there, which you just slip on and you cover it to make sure that your rugged case is actually protected as well. Because you want to, I mean, we've done all this work for aesthetic. You want to make sure it still continues looking good instead of getting beaten up.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to put it in checked bags, it needs to have some protection on there. So, what are the kind of use cases that people have asked you for?
So the way this thing originally started for us is we have a customer in Ontario, which has got about 6 mining operations in Northern Ontario. And these mining operations are seasonal. And one of the things that we found out when we were talking to them last year is after the season winter, when they went back on site, they opened up their mining shop, the portable trailer that they had, but it was all ripped up. All the equipment was stolen and gone. So if you had a remote mining site, which is seasonal, and you've got a portable data center, you can just take it on site, set it up for the season. And when you're finished, you pack it up, bring it back. So there's no expensive IT gear that's left behind. And at the same time, actually, we also had a hospital network out of the US contact us because they're being tasked with finding solutions, extending the network for a mass casualty event. Think COVID. When the networks got extended into the parking lots, you had cars slipping through, but you had the nurses, etc., which are walking around with their iPad. They needed connectivity out and to make sure they can pick up the patient data saying, hey, this person has had his COVID vaccine or whatever else that's there. So the hospital was actually putting up a whole 48U rack with their giant switches and everything that is there. And I said, but how much does it weigh? Maybe 2,000 pounds. So I said, how do you plan? Oh, it's got 4 wheels. But just imagine trying to traverse your hospital, navigating, trying to get it out. So this portable data center makes it so easy for you to take it out, set it up. You've got a 3-node cluster that's already there, which syncs all the data back to the cloud. It's got built-in redundancy. You can do everything that you want right on site.
And
So
and for that one, you can just roll some fiber out to it.
if you want, yeah, you
Yeah.
could roll fiber or you can run, I mean, depending on where the location is, you could even have hardwired to Ethernet if, the run is not more than 100 meters, which is there, so that they could do that too.
So it just needs power and some backhaul, either
So
Starlink or
exactly.
cellular, fiber or copper.
Correct. So for the power backup, many of these places do have power already on site. They can run a long cable that's there. But we do have a complete ecosystem that's built around this data center as well. So we have got portable cooling. So you've got a little air conditioner that's on battery if you require that. It can run on AC power. We have also got a battery solution, which is actually on wheels, which goes from 4 kilowatt to 48 kilowatts, depending on additional modules that you need. We have got a solar part, which is you can connect it so it can charge. We have also got a dual fuel generator, which has smart capability in talking to the battery backup. If the battery is down, it kicks in. Otherwise, so you could actually have this entire setup running off grid from days to weeks or even a month.
Sounds like you've definitely thought through this. Cool idea, and makes me want to go play with one. Which is that's a good sign that you put together these things. And I know this is an audio podcast; you can't see what we're looking at, but please go to their website and check out this unit that they've designed. It looks fantastic, and it's something that can really help if you have this kind of need. And these needs aren't. Some of them are planned, like your mining example, but this is also just in case.
So we actually discovered some interesting stuff when we were at the trade show. There were situations we'd not even considered. There is a crew that wanted to put it on their fire trucks. Now, it got me thinking why they would be. So apparently they're connected. They want to make sure that there's a portable data center that's on fire trucks. We had a marine company reach out to us to put it on their freight ships. But they wanted to figure out a way how we can secure it to make sure that there is no movement, it doesn't slide around. So we've got attachment for wheels. So maybe we can, have an attachment for anchoring it to the ship floor, which is there. That's one option. And then the bigger interest that came out was actually from Africa, from Ivory Coast, from South Africa, where they've got schools and you've got police agencies which are remote. They said this is perfect way for us to, pre-configure everything and ship it to site. So the interest from the international location seems to be just out of the world.
And so you just provide the hardware; they would provide whatever network, both storage or compute, that they have needs for.
So we've got two versions. The first version of the kit that we have got is primarily made for scale computing because there are not many commercial entities that actually support the small mini form factor computer. Scale computing is one of them. I think you can run Proxmox. There's another company called StoreMagic where you can run it on mini computers. But all the other big guys, typically like the VMware, Nutanix, their sizing requirement for the hardware is a lot bigger. So it does not fit their framework. And this product is going to be purely channel. So if you've got if you're already a partner of Scale Computing, you can actually order the kit from us or through their channel distribution. And you'll be getting the hardware from Scale Computing to install it onto the data center. But we do have a version of our own mini computers that's going to be coming out. It's a little more high-powered unit. It's running an i9 CPU. It's got 4 network interfaces, 2 10 gig and 2 2.5 gig copper. So that people will be able to buy. Now, it's easy to calculate bare bone unit, but when you start getting into how much memory I need, how much storage, it starts getting variable, and then the price goes up from 12,000 to 25,000 depending on what they want with all the fixings and everything that they want inside the mini computer.
Well, thanks for seeing a need in the market and designing a tool to take care of it. Is there any updates to your previous product that most of our audience would know, your site survey kit? Any plans for
there are
upgrades?
a few updates. So what we've done, we always had a standard PoE Plus injector, which would give 35 watts, and we came up with a PoE Plus, which would give you 1 gigabit connectivity, but also have, for example, 70 watts of power for anybody that required PoE Plus Plus. So now we have got a 10 gig PoE++ upgrade that's available to people who want high bandwidth, high throughput. So that's an option. We've also got a few attachments that are there. If you've got to mount external pole mount type access points on our kit, and the traditional pole mounts are generally those U-bolts that are there, which require, you can't really put those U-bolts on a carbon fiber pole. When you tighten it, it's just going to shatter. So we had to design our own a special clip, which is basically a compression fit, and it just fits perfectly with our kit. And there are some other things that we are working on. One obviously was for the entire following of wireless LAN pros. Our kit is not cheap, first of all. We know it's a premium product, and there is a market for every product that's there. So we've been toying with the idea of if we were to come up with a complete DIY solution. It's almost, think of IKEA, where everything comes to you in a kit. You've got the poles, you've got the legs, you've got all the jigs that you want. You can drill the case. All you have to do is to buy the case on your own, and we'll provide the instructions. So if there is a market for it, we'd be happy to put something together.
That sounds intriguing, because I know a lot of people who have built their own kits just because there wasn't a really good solution out there. But your individual pieces are pretty fantastic by themselves.
Correct. So if you're if you're a consultant by yourself, if I was on my own, I would like to build it on my own, because I don't have that kind of a budget till I start getting, a few paying customers, and then, things can pay for itself. But the bigger companies that actually use our kit, they don't want to build anything. They want it all pre-configured, ship it site. If it breaks, just give me another one. So, but there is a very large, I think, following that the wireless community in general has, which are individual consultants, and cost is an issue. So we're trying to figure out how can we make it useful for them to build something, and we've been trying to think of this, but there has to be a fair amount of interest. You can't really build it and keep the cost down if you're only building 5 of them or 10 of them, or even 100.
Well, we have a weekly newsletter that goes out to, 12,000 people. So if you want to run a little questionnaire, we'd be glad to support that and find out if there's people who want to play along.
Awesome. That'll be great.
Rahul, thanks for your time today. If anyone wanted to track you down, how would they find you on the interwebs?
So just go to HiveRadar.com. You'll have the product information already on site. I think you should be able to look me up, Rahul Narasimhan, on LinkedIn, and connect with me. I'm happy to hear your suggestions. If you've got questions about the kit, the use case does not fit, but you need some modifications, I'm always open ears.
You've been listening to another episode of Heavy Wireless, part of the Packet Pushers Podcast Network. If you have ideas for other topics or shows, feel free to leave them in the show notes. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you next time.